Rise, minions, and welcome back to our fourth and final game of the day. We've already hit our goal. We're pushing for our second goal. Can we do it in the next 3 hours? Of course we can. We are here for a game called For the Queen. I'm excited. I'm always excited when Katie's here to run games. But before we turn things over to her, I'll remind you guys that this is a charity stream. If you want to interact with us, please check in the donation section down below for all the fun things you can donate for. Also, we are sponsored by Mage Hand Pressed, who is giving everyone who donates, because we've already hit the goal now, a bunch of PDFs and a discount code to their brand new Space D&D adventure called Dark Matter. We are also doing a giveaway right now for Easy Roller Dice. We're giving away a pound of dice because we've already hit $1,000 donated this year alone. We're doing another giveaway at $2,500, another at $5,000, and another at $7,500. So let's hit those goals. We're also sponsored by me. If you guys want to help the channel out, please go check out our Patreon. That's what keeps us alive and kicking. That's what keeps the lights on and the internet flowing. That being said, I will turn things over to Katie to introduce these lovely players and jump into an amazing game of what I assume can only be sadness and role-playing and death and murder, because that's what happens when Katie runs games here. So Katie, please take us away to the land of the Queen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie. I use she, her pronouns. We're going to be playing For the Queen, which is a relatively new game by Alex Roberts. It's published by Evil Hat Productions. It's a role-playing game, but in a very different sort, as in you follow prompts that these cards give you. We don't really have specified characters. We have characters that we refer to in the relationship with the queen, and we build this queen together. And at the end, we decide if we will defend our queen or not when she is attacked. It is a very collaborative game, which is some of my favorites. It's technically GM-less, and it's very low-key, very easy to pick up, and it's great. So let's just go around and introduce everybody, say who you are, what you go by, your pronouns, that kind of good stuff, and then I will hop into explaining how to play the game. So I already said I'm Katie. I use she, her pronouns. Teddy, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Nerdy Teddy, and I use she, her. Thank you.
Julian, what about you?
Hi, I'm Jillian, and I go by she/her pronouns.
Moth? Muted, sorry.
I was about to say, hi, I'm Moth, I'm muted. Hi, I'm Moth. I go by she, her pronouns.
And last but not least, Jack.
Everyone, I am Jack, and I go by they, them pronouns.
Great. Okay, so like I said, this is a very simple game to pick up. I'm going to go through a couple of instructions, and then we can hop right into picking our queen and building the story together. So the land you live in has been at war for as long as any of you have been alive. The queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power. The queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey. She chose you because she knows that you love her. So right now we can go through our, if you're looking at Roll20, I'll lay out these cards. These are sort of narrative inspiration for us to, as we, start telling this story together, build our queen. Full disclosure, if none of us like any of these cards, we don't have to have a queen card. It can be a queen that we completely build her image up together. But these are just used as some kind of, a little bit of way to, if you want to make an evil queen, there are a couple of evil looking queens. If you want a very sweet and innocent queen, there's some. So I'll start, I'll start laying these out, and we can, make a decision together. And I personally am not picky on all of them. I am very bisexual and love all of them. So we can do whatever we want. But definitely feel free to start, if you have any that really suits your taste, we can start talking about it.
I'm just fawning over the beautiful art right now.
So good.
Yeah, the art's
Wonderful.
really nice.
I mean, the top left one screams to me because Deacon.
Oh, yeah. That is my brand.
Some of these will have to overlap a little bit, but Yeah, like there's a huge choice of yeah, that's all of them. That's a huge choice of queens we can pick from.
Oh my god, it's Queen Elizabeth.
God save her.
Like I said, if none of these strike your fancy, we don't have to use any of this art at all. It's beautiful art, don't get me wrong, but we don't have to use it. But if anyone has a consensus on like maybe a top 2 or something, flip a coin, that kind of thing, it's just...
I'm really liking the very last one that you put down.
This sort of druidic looking one. Okay. Anyone else have a one that's...
like the Tiefling Demon Queen.
Okay.
I was going to say the top left 2 there is...
Oh, yeah, I do love the Shrouded in Shadows Queen. It's very Cersei Lannister to me, and I love it.
I really like the not the like the farthest to the right, but the third one to the right, like kind of like next. I can't speak. I like this one.
That one? Okay.
I like her. Yeah, she's pretty.
Okay, we can oh, I didn't mean to move. We can definitely narrow it down to these 4.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't have a certain preference, we can roll a d4. But it's up to you. I mean, it's up to all of you. It's whatever way works.
Yeah.
I like random.
Because to be fair, we can even if we got this tiefling looking queen who looks like a demon, it could be that she's the sweetest queen ever. It just matters on what story we tell. So yeah, we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just roll a d4 real quick.
Or some kind of hellish amalgamation of them all.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh.
We're going with Demon Queen.
I like it. Okay.
I love how you're so happy that we have a demon for a queen, like a literal tiefling.
I've actually never used this queen, so I'm very excited. I've never used this card.
No racial profiling here.
Okay, sorry.
I know Moth loves tieflings. Okay.
I've been called out.
I play so many tieflings.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very good race. Don't get me wrong. I love it.
I think I found my new best friend.
Yeah, I'm just getting back through the... Okay, so we go through these prompts. We will go in the same order we introduced ourselves in. I'll start first, let everyone get a hold of it. What you do is you draw one of the prompt cards and you lay it out on the table. You read the prompt and you interpret these questions and you answer them however you wish. Other players may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn. That's fine. But whether you answer these questions or include those suggestions is entirely up to you. If someone wants you to elaborate on, you make the statement that you have a secret plot against the queen. If someone says, well, what is that plot? You don't have to answer that. You can keep that and reveal it later, or you can never reveal it in the game. It's completely up to you. So we have our X card, of course. If you encounter a card or an answer that you do not want to be included, just call out X card, put it in chat, whichever way. This game is very open about being open about saying I want to X card this. It's very accepting of it, which all things should be, but this card is deliberately put in the rules. So if you don't want to answer this question or don't even want it in the game at all, X card and it's gone. If you draw a card that's removed, and you X card it, you can draw another card. You don't get your turn taken away from you. That wouldn't be fair. You can also pass on your turn. So if you get a prompt and you're like, I want to hear what you say to the next player. You just say, I'd like to hear your answer to this question and pass the card. I also like to think of that as a power play. A prompt card can be passed around the table until someone says X card to it, or it gets back to its original owner. Because if you pass a card, that is your turn. It's different than X card. If you're passing it, that's your turn because you're sort of power playing the next person. I believe we continue going around drawing these cards and answering questions until the Queen is under attack card is drawn. when that card is drawn, it's just like the rest of the prompts. You answer this question: do you defend the queen or not? You don't have to give reasoning. You can just say yes or no. It's up to you. And that's when the game is over. And now we can begin if everyone's ready and comfortable.
I just have this
Ready.
really weird hypothetical question.
Of course, yeah.
What if the first card that we draw from the prompt deck is the
I mean, it's not. There is a special rule set for the Roll20 instructions that lets you. It tells you if you want to play like a 20 to 30 minute game to put the card sort of in the middle of the deck, closer to the top of the deck. But for this one, I just put it toward the bottom. If I see we're getting close on time, I'll shuffle things around. I'm sure you guys won't mind. Mike won't mind. Keep the time limit. But usually the games run about 2.5, 3 hours if you put the card toward the bottom. So especially if you really get into answering questions and asking questions. So I will start. Who is this distant power you are traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy? So I think that the power we're traveling to is, I think it's the ex-lover of our queen. So our queen, I think it was sort of what you would call a bad breakup kind of situation. Things did not go well with whatever relationship they had. And I think I'm just like a simple handmaiden brought along, but everyone in our kingdom knows the drama between this sort of lover, this ex-lover of our queen. So we're all very worried about whatever deal our queen is trying to broker. Is it a legitimate deal? Is it something that this other distant power might be trying to take advantage of our queen? That kind of thing. And I think it makes, at least me, my character very uneasy. Does anyone have any questions? Want to further try to elaborate on that? If not, we can just go to the next player. And you can ask anything you want, any kind of elaboration to any question.
I kind of have a question. I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
How did they break up?
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
I'm already making a great queen. I think our queen has a lot of lovers. And I think that this distant power, while knowing that, like, got into this relationship, with this knowledge. I think they finally got too jealous to continue on, and was like, "No, I'm over this. I want you to be a one-person queen." And our queen was like, "Nah, ain't dealing with that."
I think that he asked too much of her and too quickly.
I agree with that. I definitely will include that. Maybe this distant power wanted more than just a contract kind of alliance, wanted a marriage for an alliance.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. We will go on. It is your turn, Teddy. You draw a card, read the prompt, and we will continue.
That where?
So if you draw it that way, you can click on where it says it has the one above your name, and you can just draw it out onto the table. If not, if you want to do it the other way, if you'll hover over the red cards, a little card will pop out at the top, and you can draw it.
Okay.
No problem.
Ooh.
What brings out the queen's kindness? And considering what we were just talking about, maybe just simple compassion. If you're nice to her, she's going to be kind to you.
What is an instance that the queen has shown your character specifically that kind of kindness?
think that would be, I wrote her some sort of poem, and
So, did she was it the type of thing like she wanted to show it off to everybody, or was it kept privately between the both of you?
I think she wanted to show it off. That sounds
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
I think that her compassion can sometimes be a bit more, can have a few more layers to it than simply she will show you kindness if you show her compassion. I know that sometimes she might do it for ulterior motives, but ultimately she's thinking about the bigger picture and what will serve her country best.
Not necessarily herself always, but always thinking of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very selfless.
Nice. Anyone else has any comments? We can go to Jillian.
Yeah, it's my turn. Just gonna show Oh, there it is. You saved the queen's life once. How? Oh. So I saved queens once. So I used to be a mercenary, and I was just wandering by when I see the queen's carriage get attacked by a group of local bandits. So I go in and stop the bandits, not realizing that the queen was actually in the carriage, and she was very grateful for my brave and noble deed in saving her. So she made me one of her best top bodyguards.
Okay. I had a question. It literally just left my head. I hate when that happens.
I get those all the time. It just
Did it? Okay, here's what it is. Did it make her established guards jealous? Did they feel like this was unfair, that you sort of came out of nowhere and took this spot?
Yeah, they were jealous of me at first. They underestimated my skills with the sword, and just there was constant daily times where I've been challenged to certain duels to be replaced as one of her bodyguards, but I always won those in the end.
Here's a question. Was it truly an accident that you wandered by at that time?
Maybe, maybe not. No one will ever know.
That's totally fair.
It's good.
If anyone else doesn't have anything, we'll go over to Moth.
Draw one card. That was a bit weird, but this is a part of you that does not want peace. There's a part of you that does not want peace in this land. Why are you attached to the war? My fear is that should the land know peace, that the queen will become more selfish. If she is given reason to find her own happiness, as hard as that is for me to say, then maybe she will stop paying attention to her subjects and stop paying attention to her advisors and courtiers and guards in the same way that she may pay attention to those she's courting or herself.
Do you think that it would be like a conscious decision, or do you think it would just sort of happen naturally? that she would, have this shift of interests?
I think that's part of it would happen naturally, but also there might be a conscious decision to put herself first for once, putting herself above the country or putting her own needs above others, especially when she hasn't done so for a long time. And it wouldn't be out of maliciousness, but I feel that then she would also not act entirely reasonable.
Do you think she deserves to take more like advantage of herself? Do you think she takes herself for granted, perhaps?
She definitely takes herself for granted. And I think that I see her as, perhaps because she hasn't known selfishness or her own needs for so long, that maybe it might wear her down. She might give in to that kind of lust for these vices to the detriment of all else.
Do you think that this is an act of selfishness on the Queen's part, going to this far-off place?
I think so, yes.
Have you shared that thought with any of the other retinue or with the Queen herself?
Definitely not with the Queen herself. As though she is kind, she has a stoic rage almost. She's shared it with some of the retinue who she believes can be trusted, though.
All right. Jack, your turn.
There we go. How does the Queen remind you of her status while on the journey? As he was established, it's just very natural for her to, just exude royalty. So it is simple things like always being sure that she is properly attended, that proper protocols are followed even in the middle of nowhere in these forests. It's all about keeping the
The status quo?
Yes, keeping the status quo. There's no difference between where we are now and standing in the courtroom in full regalia. We are expected to act exactly the same.
Does her kindness lessen when someone slips up, or is it the kind of thing that she sort of does she punish it harshly or does she let it go?
I don't think she directly punishes because she is a kind queen. She is disappointed and allows the court to handle the punishment.
We all know that disappointment's worse.
Exactly.
It's worse. Does she, when she does this and lets the court sort of, do the punishment, does she take the chance to stand up for any of the retinue to prove her kindness, or is it that sort of situation where it's her punishment?
It depends on the person. I think for some members of the retinue, it has been clear that the Queen has expressed disappointment and then stepped in to be like, no, in my infinite kindness, I absolutely forgive this kind of trespass. Perhaps as a way, perhaps out of true kindness, or perhaps out of a sense of, I will make you know who is in control and who you should be loyal to.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Royalty.
Gotta love them. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, my turn. Oh, when was the last time the queen hurt you? I think it was the kind of situation that Jack was sort of just describing. Being a handmaiden, I think that my character, is very used to this sort of daily routine. But I think this is the first time that she's ever traveled and is still pretty unsure why the queen asked her specifically to come. So I think that she makes a couple of tiny mistakes here and there. And the queen sort of isn't cruel about it, but does the whole, oh, I thought you were better than this. That kind of, that kind of speech that sort of just digs at you. And I think it genuinely hurt my character because it's probably the first time she's ever experienced that kind of disappointment and harshness from the queen, especially in such a private party. We're, as the retinue, it's just us. We're all close together. So she felt very embarrassed and hurt that the queen would single her out that way.
And I think it's something that all of us have experienced to a point, is, especially in more recent times, a harsh disappointment from the queen.
And I think building on that, I think that's all of us can feel the tension and probably how much she wants this agreement, whatever's happening, to actually go through. I think we can see the pressure on her. And at least my character doesn't really understand why she feels it's needed to take it out on us. Just like a Southern mother. Exactly. As an Alabamian. 100% true. Teddy, your turn.
So the queen does a little bit of bless your heart.
Exactly. I was just thinking that.
What did you bring with to protect the queen? I don't think my character is so much combat type person, but probably has a small dagger or something that she can use to in a tense situation.
Have you had to use it? And even maybe not before or maybe not just, specific to the trip. Have you had to use it before ever?
There's probably been a situation where she could have, but she froze. Not so much used it, but should have.
Mm-hmm. Was there something that came from that moment of frozen action that, like, your character regrets? Or did it end up okay in the end?
I wouldn't say it maybe ended up okay in the end, though she definitely regretted it. Maybe it actually learned how to use the dagger.
Yeah, it sort of spurred you to... You're still not a combative person, but at least you can defend yourself and the queen if need be. Gotcha. Julian.
Hey. What do you do for the queen that no one else can do? What could I do that no one else can do for Her Majesty? Oh, this is a tough question. I think that my character... Oh, this is really tough. I can't think of anything.
Well, remember, if you don't feel comfortable answering it or even having it in the game, you can X card it, or you can say, to your next player, I prefer for you to answer this question.
Yeah, I think with this part, I'm gonna pass the card over.
Okay. It goes over to you, Moth. It becomes your card, and you also have those options as well. You can X card, or continue to pass it.
I feel like for the Queen, I can offer her comfort that none of her numerous lovers could.
Is it a physical comfort or is it a emotional comfort?
I would say both. And lowly courtesan though I am, I feel that it's something that it's a sort of emotional and physical comforts that the many men wooing her could not offer her. And the gentle understanding of a woman's touch.
Did you ever get jealous of the other lovers, or did you fully understand that's just how the Queen was?
I understood how the Queen was, but I became jealous of the one we are going to visit.
Is the Queen able to be truly vulnerable with you?
I don't know if she's ever able to be truly vulnerable with anyone, not even herself. But there's definitely a level of vulnerability there. And a more, not necessarily tender, but fragile side that she shows.
Have you ever shared your jealousy with any of us in the retinue?
No.
Okay. If we don't have any more questions, it's Jack's turn.
What makes the Queen beautiful in your eyes? I think to them, the most beautiful thing about the Queen is yes, the big old horns.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Anyway, careful.
Within that, the passive aggression, but the kindness, the quiet authority that she will be respected. And there is no brooking anything but respect, even within the kindness is not weakness. It is an ironclad strength of hers.
I love that. Do other people, even in our own court, in our own kingdom, do they try to take advantage of that kindness?
Oh, absolutely. Many have tried. The Queen has a vast extended family, of which I am one of. I am a cousin. And a number in the past have attempted to move the line of succession along, and it has gone incredibly poorly in every case thus far.
Have you ever been secretly a part of one of those attempts?
Would I be here if anyone could prove it?
Just take that slow sip. Do you find that the Queen, now that we revealed your family, do you find that the Queen relies on you and sort of trusts you more than maybe anyone else in her retinue, or even in the court? She finds a familiarity with you. Do you find that happens with the both of you? Is it your family?
I think there's familial obligation, but it isn't entirely what you would call familiarity.
Gotcha. So it's like extended third cousin type of relationship, that kind of thing.
Well, though we might even be first cousins, it's still, you're still not the queen.
Gotcha. Totally understand. Anyone else have anything to add or questions? We'll move on to me.
Do you ever wish that she would pay you more mind, or that you could be more of an advisor to her given your familial status?
I think it is very important to keep the queen well informed of any threats against the queen, no matter where they might come from. And I'm sure she's thoroughly appreciative.
Are you telling us that... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Moth.
No.
Are you telling us that you might have sold out some of your own family members along the way?
Awful.
I would never do such a thing.
I didn't say that. I said it would be awful.
Do you ever wish that maybe the royal familial line had fallen closer to you?
It certainly wouldn't take much for it to fall closer.
Mac is already putting down.
That would be incredibly unacceptable in the Queen's Court.
I love this so much. Already you have these wonderful threads to build on, and I'm digging it. What is something you do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey? I think that before I was a handmaiden, I think I worked in the stables. I think I dealt with, getting the horses ready for... Katie knows nothing about getting horses ready. So whatever all that's called, getting them ready for journeys, just,
Shoveling shit.
Yeah, shoveling shit.
Mucking stables, yes.
Yeah, and I think that, it made her a hard worker. And I think it also, when you're in a position of, when you're in such a lowly position, I think, even as she rose to a handmaiden, which was a greater position than she had before, I think it teaches you to, keep your ears open and listen for every type of information that might come around, because people tend to gossip freely when there's a servant around. They don't really see the servants as people on their level, especially the court. While our queen might, the court, is probably completely different than her. So I think it taught her to keep her ears open and pick up on little social cues and things that people might be plotting. And I think that it's, while I don't know it, I think it's one of the reasons the queen chose me specifically to come along, because I've maybe mentioned things to her that has helped her foil certain things happening. She's been able to not be in a place where something bad was going to happen, or she's been able to come out on top of some kind of deal because I've kept my ears open and I've listened and I've kept my head down. And I think that's something that she values, because I don't think a lot of people in her circle do that.
Would you say you act as a spy for the queen now?
I think I do, but I don't think I know it. Does that make sense? Like, I think I'm naive enough to just, she's just asking for information. You know, she just wants to know what the day's like. But I think she knows that I'm naive enough to just blurt it all out. So I don't think I realize that I'm sort of being used.
Oh, go ahead.
If you did know that you were being used, what would your opinion or your reaction be?
I think I would try to take advantage of it. I think I would try to like position myself in a higher place in her retinue or, you know, in her inner circle. But I'm not sure if I would even know how to do that. I don't think my opinion of her as a queen would change. I think regardless, I would have very much of a respect for her. But I think if I knew I was being used, I would try to use it to my advantage.
Do you suspect anyone in the retinue of plotting against the queen currently?
Oh, man. I don't think I do. I think I know that her family is shady, but I don't think I like specifically suspect you. I think you're one of the good ones. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're genuinely on her side. They had, you know, they just want the family, the lineage to thrive and, you know, her to be in power. But I still think like the family itself isn't good, but you got her back. I think that's what I think. Yeah. Probably gonna get me killed. Daddy, it's your turn.
There's a false rumor about you and the queen back at the royal court. What is it and how did it start?
Give us that juicy goss.
The hot goss.
Hot goss. Gossip. Now it's getting good.
I think maybe it's just a rumor that we're lovers, and it probably just started. I'm an entertainer. The queen asked for late night entertainment, singing or something, but everybody assumes it's more than that.
Have you tried to deflect these rumors, or have you sort of like, you know, accepted I feel like people might hold the queen's lover in higher regard. Have you accepted that, or have you been like, no, we're not?
I think I know about them, but I pretend that I don't. So if somebody says something, I just pretend I didn't hear them. And just let them think what they want.
Do you know that being aloof like that has made you enemies in the court?
Probably not.
Has there been any retaliation of any sort that has happened since the rumors started to spread?
I think building on something that I said earlier, maybe it has to do with the moment where I froze and could have been of help in a situation.
Were you aware that it was started by someone else close to the queen?
I think I assume that, but I don't know who.
how would you react if you knew that it was my character that started the rumor?
Probably thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Because it probably wants people to think that it does. Some people think highly of it,
Yeah, of course.
What do the other lovers think about this?
She doesn't care. She never bothered to find out.
Oh God.
Oh. Mine thinks that it's just another fleeting attraction.
Oh, is there, Teddy? Do you think there's tension between your character and Moss? Like, even though it is just a rumor, do you think there's tension there? Like, especially we're all having to travel so close in this retinue, like the two of you, the two lovers.
Maybe.
There's no tension from my side because she knows it's not real.
Oh, that right there is tension.
That's so good.
But I would say also because she summoned her to the room for music after one of their sessions, so knows that nothing happened and is more amused than jealous.
Talk about a power play.
God, I'm sorry, I'm such a bitch.
No, I love it. It's exactly what you should
Oh,
do. Get that
good.
scandal going. I love it.
Like some of us have been playing vampire for a few weeks. And
Yup.
this is nothing.
Don't worry. The card about what do you do for the queen more than anyone else? It always brings out one 12-year-old in the group. And it's usually me. Julian, what about? It's your turn.
It's my turn. Ooh, this is juicy. The queen gave you a compliment once. What was it, and why have her words stayed with you? So she just got out of another duel with another jealous guard that she stole the great bodyguard job from, and like during one of her duels, her hair tie got cut, so all her hair was down, which she's kind of self-conscious about having her hair down because it underestimates her abilities as a warrior because she's a lady. So the queen saw her with her hair down and looked at her and says, "You have such beautiful hair. I like to see it down more often," which kind of struck her in a way that no one else has ever done to her before. And it stuck by her to know that the queen appreciates not only her skills, but her beauty.
I'm trying to decide if I want to do this or not.
I'm honestly wondering if we're thinking the same question.
I'm just like, I know like, Moss has opened the door like a little bit, and I just want to full kick it in. I'm just like, how far can I go before Mike says I'm not allowed on his channel anymore?
I'm just enjoying watching this become more and more like the favorite.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Best. Yeah, it's wonderful. Jillian, how did your how did your character react one evening on our journey when the queen offered, and not really offered. It was clearly a, demand to braid your hair.
All right, let me think of this. So she asked. So she demands me to have her.
I mean, I feel like it's more of a, why don't you come over here and let me braid your hair? It's like a question, but you can't say no to it.
No, I really can't. She would probably hesitate a little bit, but she would have to go along with it because she is her queen and she kind of has to follow the rules. Probably if the closer she is to her, the probability of her being able to protect her more is pretty high. So she'll let her braid her hair. She'll probably put like little flowers in her hair too. She'd be like the most prettiest bodyguard in the retinue.
Do any of the other guards make snide comments at you over it?
Probably, but she would just glare back at them. Yeah, she's tough as nails. Well, I'm tough as nails.
Do you think that the queen is showing you this sort of attention, like this newfound attention? You sort of already knew that she liked you a lot, but do you think she's doing this as a way to sort of use you to make the other guards and people in her court try to act better toward her? Do you think that you're like the new thing? You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, I'm going to show her off, but I want all of you to be better so she doesn't take your place.
Well, she kind of already did take her place when she was just made bodyguard on the spot.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think she really likes the idea of being a used pawn, just because she's just doing her job and just does not want to be part of any gossip or drama or anything. It's not really in her best interest just to be the display case of the perfect warrior, because she is the perfect warrior. She's better off in a field of battle than in some glass display case where the other courtesans can look at her.
Are you angry that you're not fighting and you are on this retinue as a personal bodyguard, and there's nothing happening? So are you bored and angry and that kind of sort of pent up aggression?
I think she's just more bored than anything else, because she knows her duty is to protect the queen. Once there is an ambush, then it'll get fun. Really, she'll just take one of the practice sources she brought with her and just pent out some of that anger on a random tree.
Painting a tree one day.
Is she aware that she's been put into a perhaps more dangerous fight than on the field of battle?
I think for her, she understands the risks that for her duty to protect the queen, because there'll be a lot more dangerous foes that she'll have to face, possible new strategic ways for weaponries, maybe a poison blade or something. She'll possibly not survive the journey if that kind of happens with poison, so she tries her best to prepare for anything that happens.
Oh, I didn't mean like that.
Oh. Oh.
Are you aware that she's been put into a pit of vipers? Perhaps.
Does she know this gossip is far more deadly than anything she would face out on the battlefield?
Oh.
I think that's what Mox is getting at, right?
Am I affected by gossip? Nah, she doesn't give a shit about that.
Or that she might have other people gunning for her now.
Yeah, she's she's been made a target, perhaps.
The retinue will remember that.
A courtesan doesn't care if you're in a glass case. They're looking at ways to stab you with the glass.
Yeah. Yeah, like really, like if they try to do something to her, she'll just go in the counter mode and just like stab him with that same glass in the eye.
Yeah, I see that. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, of course, like you didn't expect it at first, but you're slowly getting used to the way court works.
Yeah. Because, like, she was a mercenary that has zero experience in such a noble area.
Yeah,
and now she's just getting all this new experience and is slowly getting these new skills to help her in her new tasks.
All right. Moth, your turn. No one has anything else to add?
What part of this journey will be the most difficult? How do you pull the rest of the retinue through it? I'm going to pass this on.
Ooh, pass it on to Jack.
What part of this journey will be the most difficult? I really think the most difficult part of the journey is going to be surviving the rest of the retinue.
How do you pull them through it?
I think with the right words at the right times or the wrong words at the right times in order to get people that truly don't have the Queen's best interest in the path of blades that need to meet them.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Moth.
Are you there for that?
Absolutely.
Before we came on this journey, maybe a month or so before, how did you set up a wrong word at the right time sort of situation? Like, how did you end up taking the spot of someone else because you said the sort of perfectly saccharine words to get your spot in this retinue?
Well, it was my half cousin, actually. He was supposed to be on this retinue in this position, but was just looking so tired. And what's the nicest way of saying this?
Did you kill him?
No, absolutely not.
I'd kill him yourself when you did somebody.
I did nothing of the sort.
It was just he was so tired he fell into the fireplace.
Or down a well, or out of a window.
Oh, goodness. Drowning a well is awful. Pushed by a servant, no less. Can you imagine?
I think the real tragedy.
Was it Katie's character that pushed it?
The real tragedy.
They just saw a servant. And, nobody pays attention to them, and so nobody can know.
The real tragedy was that they dropped the entire plate of tiny cakes down the well as well.
That was the true waste, honestly. The kitchen worked for days on getting that recipe just right.
Brought shame upon the entire family, and so I guess I just had to take their place.
Exactly. Oh, goodness.
I like how it was so blunt with that question. Well, in this game, you do have to be so blunt.
All right.
Or sharp.
I'll draw a card. Oh, good one. What brings out the Queen's cruelty? I'm trying to decide. I think I think this whole journey has brought out the queen's cruelty. I think she knows what she's going to. It's a past lover. It's someone that she probably doesn't get along with anymore. She has one definite lover with her and one supposed lover with her on this in this retinue. And I think as the longer this journey goes, that kindness that we know her for, that sort of silent, strong, solid kindness, it's beginning to fade. And I think she's beginning to get shorter with us and lash out. And while she apologizes almost immediately after, it is such a violent lashing out of just smallest things, like just me not coming to her side quick enough, even though I'm all the way across the camp. It's like not possible I would be able to get there in 2 seconds. But I think that it's beginning to wear on her more and more, and it's making that kindness that I think she has to work hard for. And I think that she's getting tired of working hard to stay kind. And so this cruel side that at least my character doesn't know is beginning to come out.
Do you think that cruelty was always there and just hidden by the comfort of the court?
I don't think she does. I think she genuinely trusts her queen and respects her. And I think that she's just in her own way, not that she would ever voice this to the queen. I think she feels sorry for her. Like, this is a very... Who knows what's going to happen when they get to this kingdom? Besides, they're trying to broker an alliance, but who knows what the details of that mean? And so I think, like, while I worked hard to become a handmaiden, I'm like looking at this queen, this woman in power, and I'm like, I don't want that. No, thank you. This is like, I just, I think I feel sorry for her.
Who is the actual lover in this group? Because you said there's an actual lover and a Oh, okay.
Yeah, Moth, because you're a courtesan, and we think that Teddy's character, the entertainer, is, there's a rumor going around that I spread.
Yep. Okay.
Gotta spread it like butter.
Yep.
Yep, just spread it on like peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Teddy, your turn.
Oh.
I think I'm from there.
Can you read the card out for us? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
I got some lessons.
I do that too. I'm like, okay, I'm into this. Let me just...
You have a personal connection to the land you're currently traveling through. What makes you want to stay, and why don't you? I think the land we're currently traveling through is where I'm from, and I think that maybe there's family or something that I haven't seen in a long time. But I like my position of power, so I stay.
Does the queen know about your family here?
Yes. Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay.
What caused you to leave for the court in the first place?
Ambition.
Good health insurance.
Health insurance. Oh, God.
Elf insurance! Elf insurance! There's elf insurance!
got that good superannuation.
I had a question. I got distracted. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought someone was going to say something. Are you nervous that the queen will take advantage of your family and your connections to this land? Or do you like completely trust her to just pass through?
I think I'm nervous that if I make it too known that I want to stay, that she might try to take advantage of them. But otherwise, I trust the queen that she'd pass through.
Okay.
Have you told anyone else you want to stay?
No.
Does anyone in the retinue even know that you're from here, or is only the queen know?
I think only the queen knows.
Do you think anyone suspects? Like, is this or are there like features or something that you share with other people where we're passing through, or some kind of tie to this land that like other people would suspect? Or are you like completely confident nobody knows?
I think that my music and my poetry are probably very particularly so that somebody may, if they're well read or such, that they may suspect.
Okay. Jillian, your turn.
All right. Darn crowd. Oh, this is deep.
What's fun is there's a card that is the exact opposite. Is you're considered beautiful by everyone you meet, but the queen makes you feel ugly. So they're very good cards.
Yeah.
And when you get them both, that's great.
Oh my god. This is awesome. You are considered ugly by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
Are you going to power play it?
Heck no, I'm gonna keep this. Heck no. Yeah, so like, it's just because that she has taken up, ever since like she's taken up the job as a mercenary, they think of her as like this gruggy, dirty person that pretends to be a man, is not truly a lady, and she's deemed a shame upon anyone that she meets. But the queen, like after like she saved her life, made her bodyguard, she looks at her like as she kind of looks at her beauty, her hair, she's like, she kind of sees that like, I don't see something so dirty. I see a beautiful pearl in a pile of oysters. Like she's like that diamond. She kind of like compliments her, just tells her she's a diamond in the rough, and she's like maybe there's some good people out there after all that doesn't see her as a gruggy person pretending to be a man, but an actual lady.
Do you think that the queen is sincere about this?
Well, she's heard enough sarcasm from the people she's met over her life as a mercenary to know what sarcasm and lying compliments sound like. So she would probably know if it's properly sincere.
But do you think that maybe you're so enamored with this queen that you're looking past her flaws?
I would find that I'm very I'm pretty perceptive. So like even like if I'm like so enamored, I would still like keep that extra ear out just in case like I'm being like manipulated with these compliments or used in some way. She's not dumb. She wouldn't do that. She would not let that happen.
Do you think that she is I lost. God, I am so sorry. You all know I have a migraine today, and it's been a long day. They just keep leaving my train of thought. Do you think that she shows you any special attention than you already know she treats you better than her other guards. That is a given. But like in the retinue, do you think that she shows you special attention that might make one of us jealous? Because she sees you as this beautiful warrior, as this strong thing. And like you said, we just, you're just a bodyguard to us,
I feel like she would kind of use that special attention probably to make the other male lovers jealous in a way, but not in a way like the attention I'm giving is physical in such a way, but kind of like a look that makes them jealous. I would think she would probably notice that is going on. And she just like doesn't show her disappointment for that kind of attention, but she has to just keep mounting through it because this is her job now, and she'll probably have to get used to it.
Awesome. Moth, your turn.
Okay. Are we putting that new rule into?
We'll get back to me since I start the round, and then we'll pass it. It'll just be even that way. Yeah, sort of technically in the middle of the round.
What do you do that pleases the queen on this journey?
What a great card.
Some extra special attention after those long, hard days of riding and journeying.
Wow.
So maybe a bit of attention to those poor blisters on those feet. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I have something that'll make this even worse. Does this special attention involve one person, or does it involve a couple more than? We're gonna need some assistance.
And Mike thought I was bad.
I mean, I do want to point out that if you're riding all day, you're not getting blisters on your feet.
Done. Has any when you were chosen, when she was making her picks for the retinue, were you an immediate choice, or was there like some decision, or you were a second choice, or like you knew you were going on this journey?
Oh, she knew she was going, and no matter what the queen said, she would be an immediate choice, whether the queen wanted or not.
Does that mean you would have? I'm sorry.
Oh, the queen's not pulling all of the strings.
Does that give the implication that you would have not particularly fought in like a violent matter, but you would have done anything to come on this journey?
Yes.
Did you do something to come on this journey? Did you have to make it so you were like riding her her mind, or you had to like sort of gently nudge someone out of the way.
Nothing more than usual. And I would say that she's always making herself quite apparent to the Queen. But maybe there was this one courtesan who, she had an unfortunate incident with a fire poker. Poor thing has this awful blistering scar down her face, and you just can't be seen with a royal congression when you look like you've
lost a fight to a fire poker.
Yeah. when you look like well done steak.
We were all thinking it.
Oh,
I guess you just poked her in the right place.
Oh no, Julian.
I'm the only one who's allowed to do any poking.
do you do any of your plotting with anyone else in the retinue?
With a certain cousin, yes.
Jack loves that too much. Speaking of, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He definitely helps me to put things into place at the right time, the right words, or the right well, or the right fire poker.
Speaking of,
Settings are very important.
Jack, it's your turn.
Well, considering what has been like going on with the choosing the retinue, I guess you could say that these plots were well put.
Oh no!
I'm just here for that big top energy.
When was the last time the Queen showed you real kindness? Ooh, I think it was actually on this trip. The Queen, being with a family member, came to view them as, someone both useful and trustworthy. And rewarded me by taking me into her confidence to express one of the things that she is so upset about going on this journey for. And that is the potential of losing the lovers that she truly prefers.
Do you know who those lovers are?
Oh, sure do.
Have you told those lovers that they have the Queen's true favor? Or is that something you're keeping close to your... Oh, okay, you've told one. Okay.
Which one's that?
The courtesan.
See a little budding friendship starting here. I don't like.
It's like I'll scratch my back. I'll scratch your back. You'll scratch mine.
Yeah.
Oh, that too.
Exactly. Working towards common goals.
Yeah, exactly. Has she confided anything else in you about this journey that she is afraid of or unsure of?
Unsure if this will actually lead to an end of war.
Okay.
Or merely a temporary cessation of hostilities.
That makes sense. Okay. We got a great donation. So this game it's not a dice rolling game. It's really hard to truly cause some chaos. So behind the scenes, we decided we're going to take whatever card, we're going to start at the top of the round for me, take whatever card we get and pass it to our next player, and they have to reveal that they answer the card if they choose to. You can still pass, but you also have to reveal a dark secret about you and the queen. So I will draw a card for Teddy. Why are some others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen?
And reveal a dark secret.
Yes. And you still totally have the choice if you want to X card. I mean, we're not taking that away from you, of course.
I think some people are jealous. The rumors were easy to start because we're really close and nobody knows why. And then, late night callings and all that, it makes it easy. But what nobody knows is that we're half sisters.
That's a good secret. So, is there no resemblance between either of you at all?
Maybe slight, but I think that I have different hair color and stuff that would make people automatically assume that you're not closely related, and then I'm maybe a little more, I seem a little more lower class because I wasn't just raised in the court and such things.
Is there any reason for... No, you first.
Are you half sister by king or queen?
King.
Of course.
Always.
Always the king.
That slut.
They just can't keep the royal scepter in its case. God damn it.
Oh no.
Is there anyone who may suspect that you are related?
I think it would have to be a cousin. I think they would know, at least suspect. They may know a little more of the king's coming and goings, the previous king's coming and goings.
I'm 12 years old. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
Has this family member, this cousin, revealed their suspicion to you, or are you trying to keep your distance, even though we're close in the retinue? Are you just trying to sort of lay low? Because I assume you don't want to be caught. You don't want that to be information that's out, because that puts a target on your back.
I don't know if they've said anything, but I would definitely be trying to attempt to lay low.
Does the queen know?
Yes, I think the queen knows, and that's why the queen's the only person that knows where I'm from.
Nice.
Have you made any attempts to find your mother while on this trip?
I think maybe. But I think the queen probably also doesn't, though we're close, she probably still holds a bit of a grudge against my mother. And so I don't want to make it known that like I said earlier, I didn't want to make it too known that I wanted to stay. And I don't really want the queen to know that I'd sought out my mother at all.
Did your
Are
mother
you in the line of
perhaps...
six?
Oh, I think we're about to ask a very similar question.
Go ahead.
Did your mother place you in the Queen's circle or attempt to get you into court for ulterior motives?
If anybody could prove that, would I still be here?
That's very valid.
Very valid.
I suppose the follow-up is, are you in the line of succession?
Basically, is this cousin trying to
Has
kill
the
you?
queen told you if you are in the line of succession?
I think she has. It might be hard. She probably told me it's hard to pull off, but that I am in the line of succession. That with nobody knowing of me, it's hard to pull off, but I am in.
Does that affect your reasons for coming on this journey?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, that's some spicy goss.
We all have to up our game because that secret. That
That's
secret
a
was good.
spicy goss.
That was some spicy secrets. Teddy, you can draw a card for Jillian. Jillian, you can answer it and give us a dark secret between you and the queen.
Ooh. Oh.
Queen knows something about you that no one else does. What is it?
Well,
Speaking of dark secrets.
Can that count as my dark secret?
Yeah, I think if it's okay, then we can definitely tie it in. It just has to be juicy, you know?
Oh,
it's got to be like double juicy now.
Yeah, for sure. Like the spiciest meatball.
the
It's gotta be like that
meatball.
Sunday night roast, that them sweet meat juices.
Give us some meat. Give us the meat juice, Julian.
Go full Arby's. We need the meat.
We need the meat.
Got meat.
What is this become?
Okay, I know the queen. What she found out about me, and it's like I had no idea that she knew about this. But during our travels, while she's just like there braiding my hair, she found out that I may or may not be sleeping with her cousin.
Well, we got the meat. So did the cousin.
Jillian got the meat.
Oh,
And she got those meat juices. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not.
No, don't
I'm
apologize.
not at all.
How did she was she angry about it? Like how did she get this information? Is what I want to know.
She probably found out from your character, Katie. She found out from her. She probably accidentally caught my character, Jack's character,
A secret tryst. I love scandal.
so good.
Is she angry? Or is she like, gotta get it while the getting's good?
I don't think she's not angry. No.
Just disappointed.
No, she's not even disappointed. No, she's just, I think she commented like, he's never had luck with the ladies, so you're considered very lucky. Yeah, the queen has told her that Jack, that you are not a ladies' man. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah,
It's
it
all
could.
the skulking.
I mean, regardless of truth or not, it's what the queen believes. Yeah.
The Skull Queen is. I think you mean the Bone Queen.
Oh God.
Sorry, guys, I'm never being invited back to this channel.
I might get the food too.
Oh God. Jillian, you can draw a card from Moth, and Moth give us. I mean, we have to keep. I was literally about to say we have to keep topping each other.
I'm the only one doing the topping here.
All right, for Moth, what did you do to disappoint the queen on this journey? So she's not mad at you. She's just disappointed.
Disappointed. Oh no.
It's canon now.
Oh, this is. Oh, God, I'm really not sure.
Let's say if you didn't want to answer the question, we could technically you go ahead and pull your card for Jack, and you just tell us a secret. I think that would be basically the equivalent of passing in this situation.
Yeah, I might do that. Oh, wait, no, I think I've got something. I was just trying to oh, God, I'm drawing blanks. I think that she was a bit disappointed in me because I revealed to her I was truthful with her for once, that I was sent by the lover the ex-lover we're going to go visit, at first to try to gain information, but I became so enamored with the queen that I relinquished all my duties as a royal spy. And I'm potentially walking back into a very dangerous situation. But she was mad that I did not tell her sooner.
Does the retinue know?
The retinue does not know.
Does the cousin know?
The cousin was one of the first to know that she had defected and was no longer working for her ex-lover. The queen's ex-lover.
Are you a double agent? And does the ex-lover know?
She's been feeding him back false information for the past several months.
Do you have any agreement with the queen, after you defected, to whatever you had, agreement as a spy you had with the ex-lover, to make that better? Are you going to get a better position in her court? Are you going to be her one and only lover? Has she offered you anything for this defection?
I'm not sure that she's offered me anything concrete yet, but she knows that my courtesan is completely subservient to her. and would, well, lay down her life for her. Which is why she takes her position in court so seriously. And the Queen also knows that this would not be a lie because she has shown her all the correspondence that she had with this other power.
Do you think that telling the cousin will be sort of a bad idea in the long run? Like, do you suspect that? I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you sort of know like a little bit of the inner machinations of the cousin, like that sort of shadiness a little bit going on. Do you feel like letting them in on your true identity might get the Queen hurt in some way, might give the cousin an upper hand? Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Teddy.
She...
Teddy!
No!
Teddy!
We'll be back shortly.
She knows that it was a bad idea, but also needed someone to know in case something went terribly wrong.
Okay.
For either her or the Queen, someone else needed to be able to pick up the pieces.
Okay. You can pull a card for Jack, and Jack can give us like good secret juice.
Oh.
I would like to say to all of us 12-year-olds, it can be emotional. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
But also, I think we've all proven we're 12. We're all 12.
We're all certainly 12.
The Queen touched you once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever? Show me where the bad lady touched you.
So
right here in my
this
heart.
is actually lead into their dark secret. When they were very young, the Queen came to them and really just laid out a plan for the family, and entrusted me with basically a list of her enemies and of people that she knew were plotting against her, people she suspected of plotting against her. And the dark secret is I am actually entirely loyal to the Queen. And my entire purpose is to remove all of her enemies while seeming incredibly suspicious and underhanded, because it draws people in.
You definitely, when you do that, like by acting shady, you see who's acting shadier than you are, and you're brokering these deals, and you're finding out who can be trusted and who can't be trusted. Because if they like tell on you, well, she knows you're on her side.
Exactly, and that shows to her those people that are more trustworthy.
Has it ever bit you in the ass? Like, has someone sort of tried to... I know we just said, like, if it's flipped, then it shows that you're trustworthy. But has someone, like, tried to get you in trouble with maybe other powers than the Queen?
Oh, absolutely. Especially the family. There was a brother-in-law that tried to use this information to stir a group of who thought they had the best interest of the Queen in mind, a group. and they tried to start a minor civil war.
Just a minor one, just
A
little.
minor civil war.
Tiny one.
A bit Civil War.
Because they thought the queen was... They were attempting to free the queen from what was clearly tyranny, but instead were basically being traitors. Oops.
Sometimes you make a little oops like that, you know?
Sometimes that happens. So, Teddy, did you miss that?
I missed some of it, yes.
Okay. So, short version is the cousin is actually entirely trustworthy and working for the queen.
He's loyal AF.
Nope, very loyal.
And just pretends to be super shady to draw out the queen's enemies.
Have you received any information from this brokering alliance that it's a trap or something dangerous that our queen is getting into? Like, are you worried, or are you completely sure this is a good idea?
I think the ex-lover thinks that this is going to work out perfectly for him and doesn't realize that the misinformation that's being fed to him is going to lead to his major downfall.
Nice. Okay, you can draw a card for me, Jack.
Okay.
Oh.
What promise did the queen make to you before this journey? Do you think she'll keep it?
Oh no.
Tell us the dirty details. Give us the nitty gritty.
I'm trying to think of one. I think she promised me my freedom. I think my secret with the queen is that I am from this place that we're going to, and I was sold to her. Years, like when I was younger. And I think she is the kind of queen that sort of makes a big deal of all her people being free. She doesn't have to have bought slaves or anything for her loyalty. She is everyone. We are loyal to our queen because, we respect her. And I think that she does not tell anyone that she accepted this deal when she accepted this sort of delegate, as she likes to call it, from the ex-lover. And I think she promised me when we were, going back, that she would let me return to my family and, not live my life as a handmaiden anymore. And I think when I came on the journey, I did 100% believe her. And I was completely no doubt. But I think as we've grown on this journey, as we've gotten, more and more has passed, and I've sort of seen that cruelty we've talked about come out, I'm beginning to doubt her.
Ooh.
I'm beginning to think that if she has a reason to keep me around, like some way that's going to benefit her, she won't let me go.
Would you stay even if you were freed?
I think I'm very young. I think I'm probably 18 to 20. And I think that I miss my family, and that having the chance, this sort of moment to be with my family, maybe, I would take that over my queen. Not that it would be a betrayal or anything. It's just this is a chance I've been waiting for.
Does your family have status back where we're going?
I think they're very low nobles in like the hierarchy. I think they're probably in the court, but I think like she was probably sold because they were in debt. I think that they had got in over their heads and like maybe faulty land. I don't know, some kind of bad deal. And so that was something to get them out of it, to take advantage of, a able body who could work for the queen. So I think they're like lowly. They probably have a aristocratic history, but it's like so old and like they're so in debt that they're more of a laughing stock than anything, I think.
Ooh. Did they used to be part of the royal line?
I think they did on where we were going. Yeah. I think they're very loyal to, even though they're from this place, they're very, very loyal to our queen. I think that if they had a chance, they would help our queen in any kind of uprising or alliance or something. I think they would turn on their own land. But I don't think my character would specifically do it for like any kind of other reason than she just wants to be with her family. Yeah, we will go back to normal thing. Teddy, it is your turn, and you could read your own card.
Oh,
not a good card.
Oh,
That's a big yikes.
Mm-hmm.
oh no!
Huge yikes.
Oh no!
oof.
I think this is easy. I think this is easy.
I have a feeling I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The king.
Not what I was expecting.
I didn't see that. I was going to think.
I was expecting the mom, not the king.
No,
I
the king. I think
expected
it's
the king, actually.
I think it's the king. I think that's. I think what happened is she found out about the affair, and I think that she kind of just lost her control.
Do you think that do you think it was truly her just losing her control, or do you think it was calculated, like she found out that you were a threat because of her father's cheating, or do you think like she just see red one day?
I think she just saw red one day.
Is that why you're looking for your mother?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Do you know that she killed the king?
I think more than anything, I suspect. I don't know, but I think I suspect. I think I probably maybe didn't know when I got to court that, or she didn't know. Maybe I knew. I came to see, my father be court entertainer. And then she found out. And I think I can't prove that she's behind, that she did it. Maybe, but I think I suspect that. I think I know she's displeased of the affair.
Did she know who you were when you first came to court?
I don't think she did, no.
doesn't.
Did the king ever like acknowledge you, like, or even if he didn't like acknowledge you as his child, did he treat you better than others, like probably better than he should have?
I think that's why I'm an entertainer in the court. I think I was just, like where I'm from, I was just, working in taverns, and I just all of a sudden, I come to court, and I'm now a court entertainer.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it would take someone in a high position to just bring in someone random, and like why they would need to have a reason. So yeah, I can get that. Jillian, it's your turn.
Hey, it's my turn.
So much drama.
I know.
Still an hour left.
What do you do for the queen that anyone else can do, and why does she make you do it? What do I do that anyone else can do? I think that I'm just gonna like kind of like specify with anyone or like some of the members of the courtesan that why does she make me do this? She kind of made me have afternoon tea with some of the other ladies. She kind of asked. She just like one day she asked me to come into her chambers. She asked me, "Hey, try on this dress that I have." So I do, and she's like, "Okay, we're going off for tea. Come with us."
Do you think that how did that clearly she was trying to like make you more ladylike. Like how did that make you feel? Did you feel offended, or were you just like, well, I guess it's part of the job now?
I think I think she felt a little embarrassed that like this is going on because she's not from like, she has not worn like pretty dresses before. She's usually like growing up, she's always been like in the dirt kind of person, like, so she's not very used to this and is a little embarrassed because she's kind of like with being called ugly and all that, she's a little self-conscious, but she's like, maybe there's someone plotting to kill her during tea, so I must do my duty and try to protect my queen.
Okay.
Do you think this has undermined your position as a bodyguard?
I was about to ask, does it make you feel like childish, like juvenile?
I feel like in that way, she feels like she's like as a person, she's not being taken seriously in that regard, and she feels kind of undermined a bit in that point, where like she wants to do her job at the best way possible and show that it can be reliable and that she is 100% able to do her job at the best of her abilities, but being in a nice dress and just having tea and little cucumber finger sandwiches does not really go into the list of the job list of what a bodyguard should do. So it's kind of like it's like she's not being taken seriously as a bodyguard.
Yeah, for sure. Moth, it's your turn. All this spicy drama.
I know. I'm just like a bodyguard that's not been taken seriously. It's so sad.
Oh, well.
That card is perfect.
Oh my god.
I think it will be more interesting if I pass this one.
Oh.
Jack.
Okay. So the queen is not your queen. Why do you serve her anyway? So their queen was my mother, who she killed. Oh no, sorry, no, killed the father, right? But
I was just going along with it.
No, didn't do that. But that queen abdicated in favor of her cousin at the time, or niece, after the death of the king, the unfortunate death of the king. Now, the reason that I still serve her is because I believe in her cause. She was out to rid the court of the corruption of the king. And
boy, was it corrupt.
Oof, goodness. I mean, just, you know what the king did. Everybody knew what the king did. Although, well, maybe not to the extent. But those monarchs ran a very corrupt system. And that's why we're in this war to begin with. And this queen wants to take care of that once and for all. And just level the playing field, as it were.
You think the queen... You think she is... I don't want to say threatened. You think she doubts your loyalty at all? Like, you know, you say why you still serve her regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You think she doubts that? Like, that one day you'll be the one who is making these deals and not, you know, telling her about these deals against her?
If so, then she's going to wait until all the rest of her enemies are off the table.
Does anyone in the retinue know about the sort of underlying issues with your, like, your relation to the queen?
Yes, Teddy does.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I am unaware that Teddy does.
Love it. Love it.
Love a good spicy detail.
Such a spicy meatball detail.
I will draw a card. Why do you think the queen trusts you enough to bring you on this journey? I think the queen truly sees me as like a naive little girl, which I really am. I don't really know much besides, you know, what I've done as my, you know, be working for her and, you know, hearing these secrets. And I think I don't even really know if it could be called trust as much as she does not think I would be capable of pulling off a coup or, you know, going against her, that kind of thing. I think maybe I think it's trust, but to the queen, it's just like, she's not even worried about me. I'm just a handmaid. I'm a servant. I'm someone she brought along because she wanted to, you know, she told me this promise that she may or may not keep. So I think that it's mostly she just sees me as a servant, a lowly servant she looks down upon. She doesn't have to worry about me posing any threat.
If you had the resources to overthrow the queen, would you?
I think if someone could promise me safety and security for my family, I would go along with them.
Do you think it would even be possible to overthrow her?
I think that's where the problem lies, is that in my eyes, she is an all-powerful being, basically. Like, even my family supports her more than this other person we're going to where we're from. So I see all of this support that she has and loyalty that she has, and I hear the whisperings from the cousin and the courtesan, you know, and I just have this strong doubt that anything would even work would be accomplished if you tried to overthrow her.
Has anyone made you that promise?
Oh man, I don't think I want to answer that.
Do you think?
Like, I'm gonna keep that one to myself.
If you were in the position to be able to overthrow the queen, would you, or do you think it would take the last of the innocence you have left?
Oh man. I think who I am now and on this part of the journey, I think in my heart of hearts, I feel like I could not harm the queen. Like, if it was me standing there with a dagger to her between my freedom, I feel like I could not do it. And I feel like it's not because of my innocence. I feel like it's because I'm truly scared of her. I don't think it has anything to do with my character's innocence or like naivety. I think it's she's scared. She's scared of this. The queen is the only sort of powerful figure she's known. So I think that it scares her to even hear people going against her. She doesn't know what the queen would do. How the queen would retaliate, I think, is the best way to say it. Teddy, your turn. Oh wait, is it Teddy or Jillian?
Teddy.
Yes.
Yes.
Worst memory in the world.
Oh.
You were summoned to a private meeting with the queen once. Why did you feel disappointed afterwards? I'm a court entertainer. I am not like the highest, and I think that I wanted that position. The reason I left disappointed is because I was told I would not be given that position.
Did she give it to someone else? Or was it something she like sort of dangled in front of you to like get your loyalty and make you probably work harder or something, and then she didn't even give it to anybody?
I think she did. Somebody else has it. Quite possibly somebody who deserves it, who did deserve it, but I was just disappointed that it was because it was a position that I wanted.
Are you still trying to get it?
Absolutely.
Does this change your standing or perspective on how you feel about the queen? 'Cause, I, well, I'm a court entertainer. I am not like the highest, and I think that I wanted that position. The reason I left disappointed is because I was told I would not be given that position.
No, I don't think it does.
Do you ever bring it up to the queen, like remind her that like you were promised this and she hasn't fulfilled it?
When I want something from her, yes.
Do you guilt her, basically? Yep. Okay.
How does she respond when you do that?
She's probably disappointed every time. Like she's probably never happy about it, but I do it anyways. Probably to annoy her.
That classic like sister thing. Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
So frosty.
Jillian, your turn.
My turn. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Oh, what did I bring with me that endangers the queen? So before that we set off on this journey, I was given a special letter that is from the kingdom that the ex-lover is from. Pay me quite a handsome sum for me to kill the queen.
What is up with all this betrayal?
I knew it. Way back in the beginning, I knew it.
Are you going to go through with this deal? Like, are you waiting? Are you biding your time until the right moment? Or are you beginning to doubt the agreement you've made?
Well, she hasn't agreed to it.
Okay.
Per
Yeah,
se.
that's fair.
She hasn't agreed to it per se,
That's
but
fair.
she has the letter on her. And she tries to hide it like extremely well so that no one knows that she has this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would like make everyone mad, from the queen to her cousin because she's sleeping with him.
Well, like, is there a doubt in your mind that you want to assassinate the queen? Or is it like, are you considering? I guess that's the right word. Are you considering it?
I don't think she wants to go through with it, but I think like in the end she does not want to go through it. But like throughout their journey, she's thinking about like all the times where she's been doubted by her, like she's been like used as like attention seeking, where she's been trying to be more ladylike, but like at points where like she's not being taken seriously. But she still remembers the time where she has done her job and she's been appreciated for it more than anyone else. So she's not gonna. She feels like near the end, she's not gonna go through with it. She just can't. She wouldn't do that to herself. To someone who's been both embarrassing to her and kind to her, and also introduce her to her cousin, who she now is sleeping with.
So you mentioned that you've done your best to hide the letter. Has anyone found it? And do you know if they have?
I think she's just like she knows that no one has seen the letter, but she suspects that Moth might be suspicious of her for doubting, because she might have like looked at her when she's like deep in thought. It might be like, is she doubting us? Is she gonna betray us? I think she has tried to look through her bag, but has failed to do so.
Is it enough money that if one of us did find the letter, would we be tempted to take out the queen?
Ooh.
It is a pretty hefty sum. So like if someone who is not in good favor with the queen saw this letter, she's like, they'd be like, what an interesting sum just for the death of a queen. I might do this. So there's probably a chance that if someone found that letter, they'd probably consider assassinating the queen as well.
That's a big old yikes. Oh, okay. Moth, it is your turn.
How much more crazy can this get?
Probably a lot more.
Let's see.
You sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why? And why does this worry you? Well, darling, I know I'm the queen's favorite.
Yes, but why does it worry you?
Oh, because people could be out to get me.
Has there ever been a threat? It may not even need to be like a physical threat, but just like some kind of threat against your life that you believe was because everyone, sees you as the favorite.
Yes, there were several from some of the jealous lovers who may have been less than happy with some of the advice I gave to her, and some of the maybe staff who are also vying for that position, but ends up being disposed of through either myself or the cousin.
Have there been any attempts on your life because you've been considered the favorite of the queen?
There's been one direct attempt.
How did you survive it?
Through quick thinking and the help of one of the serving staff who were on my good side. Well, I was on their good side.
Made that attempt.
And a really good meat cleaver.
Nice.
It was the pastry chef.
Oh, evil pastry chef.
So many of these little cakes.
It all comes back to the little cakes.
There's those dang tiny cakes. Well, I guess you could say that now where you can officially say that cake is a lie.
It was because they were brought up to the Queen's room quite suspiciously, and I had reason to suspect they may have been poisoned, but little did I know they weren't for the Queen, but for me.
So the cake was a lie.
Has the Queen ever expressed fear of like losing you because of your position? Like, has she suggested maybe the two of you having time apart or something because of this direct threat on you?
There was a time where I took more of a back seat and stepped away, but it didn't last all too long. Though she's never said quite directly how she feels.
Okay. Jack, it is your turn.
All right. Ooh. The Queen thinks more highly of you than you do of yourself. How do you know this? So, as has been mentioned, I'm not much of a ladies' man. Most people are generally avoid contact with me simply because they find me repulsive, not as much physically as socially.
As a snake.
Yeah.
Bad attitude.
People always think that I'm plotting or that it's just unsafe to be around. And so, that's really just gotten into my head. And so, I stopped seeking out, companionship and things like that because I started to believe I wasn't worthy of it. But the queen introduced me to her guard and spoke very highly of me and allowed me to actually believe in myself and feel love.
Has the queen ever told you outright that she thinks more highly of you, like than you do or other people do? Like clearly she showed you with her actions. Has she ever just directly told you, you're better than you give yourself credit for, or that kind of thing?
No. That would be a breach of royal etiquette. At least as far as I'm concerned. So.
Are you happy that the queen introduced you to the bodyguard?
Oh, incredibly so, yes.
He likes a strong touch.
Oh gosh.
You just needed a little push.
Push, a little shove,
As long as it's not down a well, you're fine.
Exactly.
Yep,
A
exactly.
little shove in the right direction, a little thrust in the right direction.
No. Oh, okay. I will pull a card.
I'm just saying words, Katie. Jeez.
I mean, it's my fault. Oh, the queen had you punished once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever?
30 lashes.
Ooh.
I would like to hear Teddy's answer to this.
I think since with all of my goading of the queen, I think what sticks with me is that I probably thought I had some sort of immunity to such punishments, and I learned the hard way that I didn't.
Was the punishment physical?
I think yes. I think it was.
Were you made an example of?
Yes.
Like, okay, that's what I was like. Did she sort of put this punishment on view for the retinue? Okay. Did any one of us try to help you? Like, try to speak up for you?
I don't know if anybody would.
Makes sense. Would you hold that against us, or would you take the punishment as like, you got what was coming toward you?
I think I would take it as I went too far that time, and this is my fault. I did this.
Makes sense. Is that the first time that the punishment was that severe, or that she even punished you at all?
Yes.
Or is it oh, okay.
you still carry the marks of it?
Yes.
In plain sight or hidden?
Hidden.
Is it something you're ashamed of?
Yeah, I think so. I think she would be ashamed of it.
Was it recent?
It was probably shortly before the trip, like a couple of weeks.
Do you fear it could have been for reasons other than what she let on?
No.
Do you suspect anyone telling her to?
No.
Okay. Jillian, right? Yep, right.
Yep. Oh.
You called it.
Did you get the other one? Yes. I was like, it's so wild when you get it. Yeah. Definitely, if you feel free to X card if you'd like to choose another one, or you're more than welcome to answer this.
Fascinating pass.
I'm actually gonna pass this.
If it's a moth.
Hmm. I think that's the queen. So did we read out this one? I can't remember.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, read it out, please. Yeah.
Yeah. You are considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception? I think the queen knows that I can be cunning and almost... It's not necessarily a physical, but she can be emotionally blinded and become almost like a snake and blinded by all other things except to get her goal. And the queen has pointed this out to her. And and has used it to get her way sometimes.
How do you feel when she does that?
Depends on the situation. If she's been called out in court or in a more serious moment, then she feels disappointed in herself, because I think that the queen knows that she has a good heart but sometimes lets her emotions overrule her, and that ugly side comes through, so it helps her to ground herself again. In more private occasions, though, it's not necessarily there's not necessarily a slight, let's say. Sometimes the queen just wants to top.
Oh, she wants to be dominant. If you want to be queen of the world, you got to be dominant in everything, including what's going on behind closed doors.
Has anyone else in the retinue, or I would say even in the court, directly contradicted what the queen has like made you feel about this perception?
Not sure. I think that people in court are always quite polite.
Mm-hmm.
and may not always be truthful in what they're saying. So they've not really been made her feel otherwise.
Any more questions? We'll go to Jack.
Okay. Let's see.
Ooh.
You suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiations. What else do you believe is going on, and why?
It's all coming full circle now.
I believe that this is not a diplomatic negotiation. This is an assassination.
Oh.
And the reason that I believe that is because that's what the Queen has told me. We're here to tie up loose ends and secure the line of rule for the Queen alone.
Do you think this is going on because of? I mean, do you have this information in your head, like this suspicion, because of pillow talk with the bodyguard? Because the bodyguard was sent or has the opportunity to assassinate, be paid for it. Is something that the bodyguard has said sort of turned your suspicion, perhaps?
I think there is definitely a bit of suspicion, and that goes all the way back to, the original arrival, the very convenient arrival. But no, I don't. But I definitely don't suspect the bodyguard. Blind spots.
Yeah.
Who do you suspect then?
I think I suspect the handmaiden.
Scandal.
It was the maid in the back garden with the dagger.
What made you suspect me? Innocent little me.
Knowing that you're from the former royal line, and you've been very handy with other work in the past.
Yep, very handy.
I'm a handmaiden.
That's why you're so handy at this stuff.
Have you confronted me about it?
No, I have not.
Have you told anyone else about your suspicions?
I have. The courtesan.
Oh.
I don't like this friendship. Not fair. Have you I'm gonna just ask the question, have you confronted me about it? Like with or without the cousin's permission, or even the cousin knowing?
No, but she's been buttering you up a bit. She's definitely she's been whispering some sweet words into your ear. And playing with your affections.
Oh.
To try and get some sort of sense of where your loyalties lie. And maybe plant some seeds of doubt in her.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this
And
is
find her vulnerabilities.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Since we're coming up on time, we're gonna draw the
Oh!
queen is under attack. Do you defend her? I think that one night while going about my like regular cleaning duties, taking care of everything, I find the letter in the guard's personal belongings. And reading it, I see the sum of money. And knowing that it will get my family out of debt, I attack the queen under shadow of night and try to kill her and fulfill this assassination to save my family's name. Teddy, what about you?
I don't want to be queen. I have been told that I could be the... So I think that I was there, and this time I don't think I hesitate.
Oh, okay.
I won't hesitate, bitch.
Jillian, do you defend the queen?
Do I defend the queen? So, without the maiden even knowing, I see that she has found the letter. And I'm just like, and she just looks at it. I can see the smirk on her face, this sinister smile on their face. And she's like, this is not going to be good. So, knowing like because like she then like considers what she's thinking. She doesn't really need the money. She's content with what she has. So, and she has proven her loyalty to her highness time and time again. So she's going to very stealthily follow the handmaiden into the night and kill her before she does the assassination to protect the queen.
But wait, if that's what you did,
Moth, do you defend the queen?
I want to hear what Jack has to say.
What are you?
ooh,
That's fair.
Oh no! What do you do?
so having the suspicions that the handmaiden was going to be, might have plans on the queen. Oh, that's a good one. Went to, was watching, skulking about, and witnessed the altercation between the handmaiden and the bodyguard. And so went to the queen to inform her of the attempted assassination and the failure of the assassination, but was mistaken for the handmaiden.
What? Wait, what?
Wait,
Yep.
it just clicked.
You're saying that I mistook you for the
Killed your
handmaiden.
bone partner, Jillian.
No. Jillian killed you.
Killed me, okay?
Nerdy killed me.
Nerdy killed you. Got you. Still, bone partner's dead. I love it. Moth, what do you do?
I protect the queen. she stays in her tent with her all night, knowing something, just the gut feeling that something is wrong. And dresses in some of the queen's clothing, whilst the queen hides under her bed sheets to try, if anyone does come, she will lay down her life for her queen. And hopefully get in a good stab to get them back.
I have to ask then, when I killed Jack's character, do you mistake me for an assassin?
Well, I scream and alert anyone else who's come with us. And look to the queen to see. I will rush at you, seeing what you've done, and look to the queen for guidance to see whether she wants me to stay my hand or kill.
Well, everyone, this has been
I am
For the
now a
Queen.
broken-hearted bodyguard.
Yeah, this has been For the Queen. It we have a little ambiguous ending what happens, but I think that's sort of for the best.
Oh,
I will hand it back over to Mike to
I
do
feel like
outros, but
this whole game was, and they were roommates. Oh my god.
oh my goodness. I guess we could do outros, that kind of thing. Yeah, we can start with Teddy. You wanna tell us, any plugs you got? Tell us where we can find you, that kind of good thing.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at NerdyTeddy. Usually I play games over on Welcome to the Party. We just wrapped Crusade of Thorns, so you can check that on YouTube. It was 3 very good games with a lot of people. I regularly run a Masks campaign on Monday nights. Thursdays, I alternate between playing Shadowrun and Pokemon and Welcome to the Party. And in place of Crusade of Thorns, this week, on Wednesday, I will be running Monster of the Week. And next week, I will be attempting to run Prometheus.
so excited.
Jillian, where can we find you? Have anything going on?
Oh my god. So, hi everybody. My name is Jillian. I'm known as Cheaper Gaming X on Twitter. You can find me there. And I'm also known as Cheaper Gaming on Twitch. I do PS4 variety streams casually because I don't have a set schedule or anything. And you can find me on Tuesdays on the RPG Labs Twitch or twitch.tv/the RPG Lab for our all women's cast of the Inquisition, where we're just like a bunch of people who serve a god but also encounter a lot of heresy. Because that's what happens when you encounter a lot of heresy. Are we heretics or are we inquisitors? You never really know. No, and no one really expects what happens next. I don't even know what's going to happen next.
No one ever expects the Spanish Inquisition, isn't that right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Moth, what about you?
Hi, I'm Scarlet Moth. You can find me on Twitter at that Scarlet Moth. I'm an artist, a cosplayer, D&D lover, tiefling aficionado, often a shit poster, all that good stuff, all that jazz. You can find me every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Encounter Roleplay on their World Tree Burns stream, where I'm playing Rowan the Ravenfolk Cleric. It's very good. It's a lot of fun. I'm also a questionable character in that as I am in this. And tomorrow I'm going to be starting up in a new stream, which time zones, I think it might be at 6 a.m. Eastern time, but it's with all Australian players, so it will be around for when you American people wake up. But we're starting a new campaign over on Dragons Are Cats channels, and it's going to be very exciting. I'm playing a monk who is good at fighting, good at drinking, and bad at flirting.
A wonderful combination.
Yeah. It's a great combination. It's a big mood.
Jack, what about you?
Hey everybody, I am Capjack, or at Captain J Cross on the Twitters, and just like Nerdy, I play over typically on the Welcome to the Party channel. And I also want to say thank you to the unMadeGaming channel for having us on here and allowing us to help out with the fundraiser. It's been a pleasure. But yeah, you can find me over on Welcome to the Party, and I'm there a lot. The second, fourth, and fifth Tuesdays of a month, I am in a 5th edition game of Mimic Knights where really we're the bad guys. The irony of a tiefling queen is my character is a tiefling there, and his mother just showed up, who is a demon empress, and now they're having a war and tea. Let's see.
What a great combination.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, this is bonding time. Demons. It's good. Friday nights, I'm in a Dragon Dark Days campaign. We are in Chult, and we're all going to die. And then starting this next Saturday, Teddy mentioned the Crusade of Thorns. It was a Camarilla, Anarch, and Sabbat game that was run between 3 separate games on 2 different channels. The Sabbat game is now continuing from, we were in LA 1943, and now we're going to be in Berlin 1966. Ooh. So I'm in the Sabbat team, and we play every other Saturday starting this Saturday. So yeah. I'm going to watch terrible shenanigans.
It's a great era for that setting. I think that's great. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah.
I'm Katie. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at KatieFace. I am tomorrow. I'll be on my channel at 10:30 Central Standard Time. We have a finale of our Honey Heist campaign, and we'll be raffling off a hardcover edition of the Uncaged anthology that just came out. It's a very great. One of my players was a contributor in it. And at 4 Central Standard Time, I'll be over on the Phantom Roll booth running Apocalypse World. And you can usually find me through the week on Off the Table. I do social media for Off the Table and also play in a lot of the games. And I run a campaign of Monster of the Week. I'll be on Alas from the Awful Sea, Urban Shadows, and then also on my channel on Thursday, there's a late night game of Witch Quest. It's a very cute, wholesome game, which is a lot different than all the other games I play in. I play a 13-year-old witch, and she's precious. I want to say thank you to these wonderful players for letting me introduce you to this game. I know it's a lot different than other RPG games because you don't really RP, I guess, but GM-less games and collaborative games are my favorite sort of games, so I'm really glad that I got to introduce 4 new players to this game. And I don't know if I can put links in. Okay, yeah. The link to where you can purchase the game, I just dropped it in chat, or you can get it on Roll20 if you want the online version. But it is a great game, and if you like this game, you might like Alex Roberts' other game, Starcrossed. It's a 2-player game using the Dread system with Jenga blocks. And it's about 2 people who want to fall in love and be together, but just can't. And it's a very fun system. And thank all of you in chat for, donating and giving us that great dirty secret round because things
also good.
Wild.
I just want to know, who got the spiciest dark secret out of all of us?
They were all pretty, on par with each other, honestly.
Probably Teddy, I think, though, with the secret sibling.
The secret sibling is always good,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But yeah, I guess I'll turn it over to Mike for any more outros about I don't know.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, this was stressful, guys. I sat here, I listened to it, I was stressed out. I wish you could see the Zoom chat because I was just yelling at all the players for stressing me out the entire
Mine was
time.
like our dad,
And I was
basically.
calling out
Every
Katie
single time.
for her
Every
sad.
single time I said something, it was just moth in all capitals.
Moth is as bad as Katie. It's just now I have to watch two people. This is a real problem
to be
for
as
me.
bad as Katie.
Yeah, you're on your way. You're all a
Bad
mess, all of you.
influence.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. This was an amazing game. Katie, I love when you run games on the channel. They are always way out of my wheelhouse and way more crazy than I expect them to be, and I love it. Guys, go check it out. Go check out this game. Check out all the players of this game and all the other games that were played this month. We have hit our goal. We didn't make goal 2, but we also had another $100 donated directly to the charity. So we had a total of $407 and change this month, which beat out last month, which puts us at $1,500, I think, total raised, which puts us that much closer to our next giveaway at $2,500. That being said, we do have a giveaway today. We are giving away a pound of dice from Easy Roller Dice, and we have a winner. That is Jake, a.k.a. Leppy83, a.k.a. Brahms Belrathian, who is known throughout the tabletop community. So he's going to win himself a pound of dice from Easy Roller Dice. We're also giving away, at the $2,500, we're giving away a bunch of brass dice. Then we have silver dice, then gold dice, because, you know, that's how our awards work. Also, everyone who donated is going to get a copy of a bunch of PDFs as well as a discount code for Dark Matter from our friends over at Mage Hand Press. So you guys can go tweet at them. I will get that out to you guys within the next couple days. And that's it. That's it for all of us, guys. We're gonna get the heck out of here. We're gonna go raid a friend of ours. So stick around for the raid call. And from all of us, you guys, bye bye.